Did you find it odd that she just accepted her death, accepted who I was, and then a position that defies human sensibilities? Azrael asked, his gaze fixed on the world beyond the window. His hand rested on the ledge, the other beneath his chin, thumb tracing his jawline, a habit developed over the years signifying deep thought.
She's not the average human.
Good. That will help her when she wakes up and finds she's no longer quite human. Azrael had kept that bit of information to himself. Savannah's reaction to her new form would be a defining moment in their working relationship. She would either take the changes in stride or go mad. Azrael admired her spunk as he observed her in the waiting room. He had not detected an iota of fear or apprehension. She appeared annoyed at having to wait. When she took on the group of distraught women, he knew she would be a good candidate for the job.
Do you find her attractive?
The question jolted Azrael. It had been centuries since he thought of women that way. Humans felt the light exuding from his soul and often met his gaze with fear. I hadn't noticed. Though, if he were being honest, he did. Savannah reminded him of a painting. The longer he stared at her, the more he realized even her flaws were beautiful. She looked ethereal standing before him in her wedding dress, the bride of death. Azrael shook that thought from his mind. He could not venture down a path that could destroy the balance of the living. A female in his life would force him to choose between his purpose or his place with her. Some lessons were learned the hard way.
Liar.
Esmeralda said with a smile. He thought about disputing her words, but arguing with Esmeralda held no point. One could not sway her opinion. What she looks like is of no consequence. What made you choose her? He had asked her that question before. She danced around the answer.
She is the only human I've ever met who finds fault in more things than you do. She will have no difficulties performing her tasks.
He turned away from the window and looked at Esmeralda. Do you believe I find fault in most things? He asked. Oh, Azrael, you amuse me so. I will miss working with you. She smiled, and he accepted that her smile answered his question.
You will always have a place here, should you choose to return?
In all the years he worked with Esmeralda, he'd never been quite sure how she felt about her job. My job is not finished, but my employment is. We will see each other again soon. Azrael had to smile as she left. He still never had a clue what she was talking about. The woman drove him positively mad with her cryptic speech patterns. Azrael turned back toward the window, staring out at nothing in particular. He didn't know how long he stood there lost in his thoughts, but he returned to the present when the unmistakable smell of sulfur filled the air. He turned to greet his unexpected guest. Some knock. It's a sign of polite behavior, Azrael said with a smirk.
At least I visit. You haven't been to see me in eons, brother.
Lucian scolded. Azrael sighed. I find it difficult to relax in your home. I do wish you'd get rid of those beasts you call pets. Also, the whole fire and brimstone scent clings to my wings.
Esmeralda loves the hell hounds. They worship the ground she walks on. They've gone from demon to pet in almost no time at all.
Azrael heard the love shining through his brother's sarcastic tone. You just missed your betrothed, Azrael said.
Did I? Good. I'm avoiding her today. She wants to talk about wedding details. You'd think marrying the king of the underworld would be enough. To top it off, she wants biblical vows.
Lucian made a face of pure disgust. Truly love, honor, and obey and all that. Azrael tried to stifle a chuckle but could not.
I don't know which is worse, her wanting them, or me going through with it because I want to do it for her,
Lucian said. Azrael shook his head. The most feared being in all of existence has been brought to heel by a mere slip of a woman. If she didn't adore you quite so much, I'd be annoyed that you are taking my most valuable employee away from me. In truth, Azrael was jealous of his brother's ability to find happiness despite what they were. Angels trapped in the realm of the dead, cursed to be keepers of souls. One for light, one for darkness, one for death. Each brother pledged their lives to maintaining the balance for humanity. There would never be a tilted scale toward good or evil while the three of them drew a breath, a punishment for not following the divine plan. Each fell from the heavens because they dared to defy God, but instead of death, they found themselves in the underworld. Lucian rebelled when tasked with allowing his human wards to die. Jeremiel refused to bar the gates of heaven from non-human life forms, and Azrael fell because a woman led him to believe their love would last for all eternity.
You could have it too. It has been centuries since Ileana.
Only Lucian would dare to say her name in front of Azrael. He waited for the pain to rip through his chest at the mere mention of her name. "I had my great love. I have no need of another," Azrael said. He tried to picture Ileana's face in his mind, but she failed to appear. The pain that had been a constant companion for an eternity no longer plagued him. He only felt sadness that she was not there to see his release from mourning.
It is my hope that you meet a woman who flat out doesn't care what you think. She will decide for you. It's what you need.
Lucian disappeared before Azrael could tell him what he could do with his hope. Azrael rolled his eyes. People in love were nauseating when it came to their attempts to find the same happiness for others. Azrael sat down at his desk, shaking his head as if in denial. He would never let another woman have the ability to cause him the devastating grief he experienced due to Ileana's death. To that day, he never understood her decision. He could have given her eternal life. They could have been together forever. Each time he thought of it, he held on tighter to the conviction that he failed her. As much as he loved her, he didn't succeed in making her want to spend eternity with him. That part of his life was over. He accepted that. For a fleeting moment, Savannah's face appeared in his mind. It occurred to him that Esmeralda picked Savannah for more than her ability to handle the aspects of the job. Esmeralda was mistaken if she thought a beautiful face was enough to turn his head. She could keep her matchmaking to herself, though he had to admit he was looking forward to seeing Savannah again. He didn't think he'd ever forget the image of her staring down the man who murdered her. Her gaze had not held a hint of fear. When the man struck her with the blade, she fell to the ground without a sound. In the end, the only thing that came close to breaking Savannah's spirit had been the certainty that she'd lived an unfulfilled life. Even then, it was not pain or sorrow that her soul cried out in. It was pure, unadulterated rage. Azrael made the decision to visit the living plane. To appease his ego, he told himself that he was going to ensure his new assistant didn't land herself in prison. Seeing her again had nothing to do with it. Nothing at all.